Yeah. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Paul Soche. I'm the founder of FBA Insiders, and I have an awesome co-host with me tonight, Miss Delia. How do you say your last name, Delia?
Ursulescu.
Okay, I was totally going to butcher that. Delia and I are going to be the ones running the wholesale group that we've been talking a lot about. And so tonight's webinar, we are going to be explaining everything about that wholesale group, how you can join it, all the goodies that are going to be in it, and how you can grow and run a wholesale business. So let's go ahead and we'll just jump right in. So we're going to start off with a poll. So how many of you are currently practicing wholesale? This will just give us a good range to know who we're speaking to tonight and all that. So let some of those answers trickle in here.
Yeah, it would also allow us to customize the content a little bit.
Yep.
If we know that most panelists or participants are new or not wholesale sellers, we can certainly talk about things that are relevant to
That's
the
right.
participants.
So we got about 40% saying yes, 60% saying no. So majority of you are not. And those of you that are, I'm sure there will still be lots, to talk about. So so that number just changed from 38% yes, 63% no. So and it's going up, more no's, more and more no's.
Okay.
So all right, very good. Thank y'all so much for that. Very helpful. So so why wholesale? Am I taking it off from here, Delia?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll let you do the first point.
Good deal. So it's for those of you that are doing arbitrage, which you're more than likely coming out of our group, it's an arbitrage group. One of the reasons why wholesale is so appealing is because it's a more stable business, and it's one that you can run from home. So you're going to be building up big, relationships, long-term relationships with other, small, mid-sized manufacturers or even bigger companies, depending on the relationships you have. It's much easier to scale. And in the long run, it is less time consuming. You can build this machine of a wheel and just plug and play into that machine.
That's correct. The reason I love wholesale is because it's easy to manage and outsource. Because you reorder each month with almost virtually no effort once you have the wholesale account. We're not saying that getting wholesale accounts is this easy thing. You just figure out how to do it, you do it, and the same day or next day you get it. Sometimes it takes longer, but once you have that account and you have access to profitable products, you just reorder every month. In our business, we've had a VA managing the reordering and tracking inventories, all that stuff for us. We've had that for the last, I don't know, a year or 2 years now. So it's really nice. All I have to do is just check the sales, make sure everything's working well. That's one of my favorite things for having a wholesale business, because you have a system that you can create in your wholesale business and it gets duplicated or applied over and over. There are a lot of other reasons and we can talk about them if you guys want, but because we have a small percentage of people who already have wholesale accounts, I think we can just move forward and show you some examples of wholesale accounts we have access to.
Yeah, so this example is actually a secondary account that I run. And one neat thing about this screenshot is that these sales really, I'm not going to say they shouldn't have happened, but they happened because of wholesale. So this is from a relationship I was trying to build with a local distributor to actually have them ship products directly into Amazon. And so when I approached this company, they had this massive warehouse of all this product. I wanted them to ship one product on skids to Amazon for me. And the owner of the company, who was about my age, said, well, I love Amazon. I always want to learn how to sell on Amazon. Can you teach me how to do it? And I was looking at 30,000 square feet of product and it was just going, my goodness, this could be a really big thing. And so me and the owner We ended up 6 months later after building a relationship, started an Amazon account together. And so this is the results from that. You can see the timestamp there from June 1st to January 8th. We sold about 148,000. This is primarily grocery products. So it's a grocery distributor, but all from relationships.
Yeah, this is an example of a wholesale account. I help some siblings, some relatives manage. And I wanted to show you this example, not because of the big number. The ROI isn't as huge on other accounts we have, but this is one account, and we only have access to 2 wholesale accounts through this Amazon seller account. You can see the sales for the last 6 months. With wholesale, you can really go deep, and that's what I'm trying to prove through this example. When we started, I think we bought 2 boxes, whatever minimum the company had, the brand. But this brand has a couple of products that are popular, sell a lot. So now we just order a pallet or 2 almost every couple of weeks, and we usually run out of inventory. You can see how on the graph we keep going out of inventory because we weren't expecting that many sales. And you can see a really nice boost in December. So with wholesale, you can go deep. That's another reason why we love wholesale, right? If you find those good accounts, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this account later because it's going to give you a strategy you can use to get some of those really popular, hard to get accounts.
Yeah, and you'll notice that average sales per item on that one, $164. Those are expensive items. And just that strategy alone bumps a lot of people out. A lot of people don't want to buy higher ticket items. And so that's just one of many wholesale strategies of just going after, more expensive items. So good
Correct.
stuff.
Well, now we thought of sharing a little bit our stories, not make it very long, but we want you to know how we got into wholesale. And when you hear stories of people who talk about their Amazon businesses, you can always listen and discover strategies they've used to grow their business if you pay attention. So that's why I like stories. And I think it would also help for you, everyone who's participating, to know a little bit more about us and what the type of experience we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And so my story, I call myself the $300 kid. I started with $300 about 5 years ago, and I was just doing arbitrage sourcing the way that many people start. And I just started on that typical evolution of the Amazon seller, doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and then I got into wholesale. And that's how I slowly did it. I got one account that had one really good SKU, and then I just snowballed from there and just kept going and going and going. And that's, as with each account and each SKU that I got, it just kept building the portfolio. And that's kind of how I like to tell people to look at it is, imagine like a stock portfolio. You're going to have some really high performers and some low performers, but they're all going to make a really good portfolio. So I've just slowly built my business up to where now my core business is about 95% wholesale. We still do some arbitrage. It's kind of hard to get away from the roots of that, but that is how I typically do it. Now I don't have to really see or touch a lot of the inventory. Some of it goes right to Amazon, some of it goes to a prep center, and some of it does come to us depending on what it is. So that's my story. It's pretty simple. There's a lot of strategy obviously inside that, but yeah. And if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to share more about it.
Yeah, and I'll share a little bit of my story. I started with $250, and I didn't even have the $250. I had to put that money together with my friend who ended up becoming my business partner. We spent all the money we had on a course teaching us on how to import from China. So we started with PL, private label. The $250 built a business that made us $250,000 in revenue within, I would say, 18 months. Within 6 months of investing the $250, we were making $6,000-$7,000 in sales. private label is a different beast by itself. But after having those two products that were generating 250,000 per year with a really good profit margin, we invested a lot of money into a product that was mismanufactured. It was a baby product, and one of the things on the product fell. So we had to throw thousands of dollars of worth of product. I mean, we just threw them in the dump, which was very, very sad. And then the other product we started at the same time was super competitive. So we realized we need to spend about $20,000 to get this product on the first page. We don't know if that's a smart idea. So that's when we transferred to wholesale. As we were trying to figure out what are we going to do next, we decided to do a little bit of wholesale. And the first product we got, my business partner saw this product randomly. I don't even remember where. So she called the company. We got some units. We put it on Amazon, and it started selling. Then we reached out and we said, hey, can you give us a better deal on this product? He did. Then the third time we called him, we said, why don't you let us handle your products on Amazon? So he didn't want us to sell through his account. He had an account, but he wasn't really using it. He said, I'll give you an exclusive agreement if you just handle this. And we've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of products for this guy. That was our first exclusive agreement. When we got a hold of this account, we realized, oh, this is pretty cool. Let's do more of this. And we went back and forth between wholesale and exclusive agreements. But when you have a little bit of the private label experience, you know how to take a wholesale account that might not be doing well on Amazon and improve it. And that opens up the door to all kinds of relationships and creative partnerships. And I know, Paul, you've had some of those examples. We can talk about them. But in my example, I started with private label. I learned those skills, applied them to wholesale. Now, a lot of you guys started with retail arbitrage. And retail arbitrage taught you some skills that you can apply to wholesale that private label will never teach you. Like, you have to hustle and be perseverant, be consistent. A lot of times you can, at least initially when we started private label, we didn't have to do as much work. So when I started to reach out to wholesale companies, getting all those rejections were tough. So I had to work through that, going from private label to wholesale. But you guys who are retail arbitragers, you're already pretty experienced in like those small failures. And anyone who is a retail arbitrager who is making some money on Amazon has the skills or a lot of the skills needed to build a wholesale business. And we'll talk more about that in a bit.
Yeah, that's very good stuff. And real quick, before we move on to the poll, and I'll go ahead and post this here while that y'all are answering this question. I'll go ahead and chat about something. So Delia mentioned that she comes from private label. I come from arbitrage. We kind of meet in the middle. And so by us coming together, our skill sets really kind of match with, whether it's building relationships or building listings, keyword research, exclusive agreements, all that stuff. Our skill set kind of meets in the middle to where we've both been successful, but with extremely different strategies, which is pretty neat. So this poll, in terms of wholesale, there's a lot of question about what's your typical margin supposed to be, especially coming out of arbitrage. And even when, Deli, coming out of private label, if any of you are coming out of private label, you're typically used to different margins. But in all sourcing models, you're going to experience high and low margins. It all depends on the source, the relationship, where it's coming from. Are you doing extra work than everybody else? Are you bundling things together? Are you doing keyword revisions, photo revisions, all that kind of stuff? Let a few more answers trickle in here. Right now we got 30% people are saying, or 6 people are saying there's 15% ROI. 11 people are saying it's a 30% ROI. We got 5 people saying 50. one person saying 75%. No one's saying 100. So yeah, and that average, Bailey and I were talking about it. It all depends on your experience. I've had wholesale accounts where I've gotten 150% ROI on some items. I would say the typical wholesale ROI is around like 30% ROI or lower. What do you think about that, Delia?
Yeah, it depends on the brands you're selling. So I've noticed that if you go after really popular brands, the ROI is lower. It could be 15-20% on average. And if you go after profitable brands, but they might not be as popular, you can get a 30% ROI or 40. And then you'll have those special cases where you have 50 to 100 to 150. So you can find those types of accounts. But in my experience, the really popular brands, which are harder to get, the ROI is lower.
Yeah.
In most cases.
It is. And that's what, I typically tell people, we're going to be going after small to mid-sized manufacturers. You don't want the distributor, and I'm kind of giving out some free information here. So, you want to be going after those smaller companies, not so much the big boys, because that's where all the big boys play, right? Everybody else that has endless deep pockets, and they can just, like, that's why you don't compete with Amazon, right? Because Amazon gets the absolute lowest cost on anything, and so it's really hard to compete against them. It's the same when you're going up against Buy Boxer and Big Fly. If you don't know who those are some of the top FBA sellers with super deep pockets that can take lower margins. And so, it depends on your model. Are you going to have a high volume, low margin model, or are you going to have a kind of a lower volume, high margin model? It typically goes that way. So we do have a question, Delia. Debbie asked, do you go to market to get wholesale accounts? So are you going to trade shows, Atlanta, Dallas, etc.?
I've been to trade shows before. I haven't established a lot of relationships at trade shows. I've found some of my best relationships by just reaching out to companies. Because I had a private label experience, I would reach out to them and say, hey, I can get you more sales on Amazon. I'm an experienced Amazon seller. We're willing to buy your product at wholesale cost. Allow us to show you what we can do. And in most cases, we had really great success. So that has been one of my main approaches. Now, with one of the partnerships, the account I shared earlier was a partnership I have with some relatives and other friends. With that account, we use a very different strategy. I guess I can cover it in short. My brother has a local store, a local coffee shop. So that has opened up a lot of relationships for us. We are able to get some of the bigger brands that are almost impossible for Amazon sellers to get accounts with. So having a retail shop, a local shop, or partnering someone who has it can really change the game. And you can just establish a relationship where you pay them a commission. So that is a possible strategy. You can use it. So if you were to go outside tomorrow and talk to a local coffee shop owner or a local store owner, they have access to wholesale accounts already. They buy paper products, they buy all kinds of things at wholesale cost. You just go to them, you establish a relationship. Almost everyone is willing to sell to make more money, right? So as long as you make it a win-win-win, it's going to be good. Now, some of the big brands do not allow you to sell on Amazon. So these retail stores are not going to jeopardize their relationship. So that's another point to discuss. But they do have access to a lot of pretty good accounts.
To add on to that, a typical rejection that you will get is that you have to have a brick and mortar store in order to sell on Amazon. And so that's where those partnerships can be really clutch, where let's say you find a company that says, know you have to have a brick and mortar store, you can either approach somebody that you don't know, or you might have somebody that you already do know that has that brick and mortar store. And so then you can have, access to those accounts. Because the reason we're doing this group is to help you get wholesale accounts. And so there's going to be a lot of different strategies to do that. You can go to trade shows. Just remember that at trade shows, you're not the only Amazon seller, right? Especially like ASD or one of the big ones. It's just like, it's absolutely flooded now. And so unless you have a really good value proposition, kind of like what Delia is talking about, like she had the experience to get people, to put listings up. She was confident in her ability to do that. And so she was willing, of course, the brand owner is going to say, sure, you can buy my product, get it on Amazon. And I've got some relationships like that as well. That's the real stable stuff. When you show the brand owner, I'm loyal, I'm good, and I'm giving you money. and then you kind of get to control the price a lot more that way as well. So anyways, good stuff. I know we got jumped on a tangent. Good question, Debbie.
Okay. Well, I guess we can ask a question if the people who are on the call want to talk about what's needed to build a wholesale business. I know a big percentage in the beginning said we're not doing wholesale. We can talk about it, at least give an overview. If you guys want to hear us talking about something else, just post a question, use your chat question option feature. But we can start talking about what's needed to build a wholesale. We can see the process of building a wholesale business as different levels, right? The first level is just the essentials needed to build a wholesale business. You would need a reseller permit. I haven't found a wholesaler who is not, actually I have one wholesale account who did not ask for a reseller permit. And that's a company who is based outside of the United States, and they include the sales tax in the price. But that's one out of what, 1,000, 2,000 accounts. So you usually need a reseller permit. To get the reseller permit, you need to have a business EIN number. You have to have a business legal type, or when you apply for the reseller permit, which has different names. Every state has different names. And I'll have a link to post where on this blog you can get links for every state with instructions on how to get the reseller permit. It's I don't remember the name of the website, but I'll look it up. And they have instructions for each state. Each state is different.
And I would imagine that many of you probably have your business number, and you don't have to say whether you do or don't. If you've been doing arbitrage for a while and you don't want to be paying sales tax, you would have already went and gotten this, set all this up. So hopefully you have that part already done. But if not, it's super easy to get. But it is absolutely essential, necessary to even open up an account. And so we were talking about there's like good, better, best as far as like what you need to build a wholesale business. So there's the essentials. You have to have your tax ID number just to even get the account, to look at the price sheet and to see what your cost is on the items. And then there's ideal, where you have a business website and you have some experience talking to people on the phone. You're not super shy and all that kind of stuff. But even if you are one of those people where you just do not like to get on the phone, I've got friends like that where they're like, I would rather text you, don't call me. I don't want to talk on the phone. If that's you, that's okay. You can still do fine with email. I am all for building relationships though. So kind of like what Delia was talking about, when you start just getting into value proposition and really trying to woo somebody over to your side, it's helpful to have some sales experience there. I'll be honest, I have no formal like sales training. I'm relational, and my sales is education. I educate the brand owner on Amazon. Most of them hate Amazon. The small guys, they're like, I don't want anything to do with Amazon, blah, blah, blah. They've got these assumptions about it. And I go, well, tell me about it, and let's talk about it. I'll tell you how Amazon really works. And then once you explain some things to them, you kind of start breaking those barriers down to become open. And just taking that extra 20 minutes on a call can really change some things. And you can be that one that just went that little extra mile to win that account over, and it could potentially be exclusive. So.
Yeah. So Paul, what if we talk about this question? If you think of your experience as a wholesale business owner, Amazon wholesaler, what do you think is the main characteristic or skill that you have that has allowed you to grow your business? And then I can talk about what I think has been my main skill set that has worked. And again, by answering this question, I guess we're demonstrating and proving once again that you can have different approaches. You can look at it from different things and still be successful. There's no just one way. You can only do wholesale this way. If you don't do it, you're going to fail. That's not true.
Yeah, so I would say definitely the relational side for me, and I think almost to a fault, like I've learned when I'm going down that rabbit trail with someone and there's a brand owner that I'm talking to, and they're interested and they're asking a lot of questions, but in the end, they're just gathering information. They're not going to bite. So I've learned to peel to, kind of wade those waters a little bit, but I would say definitely the relational side. And just networking my little heart out. And I'll give you an example. So I'm in Southeast Louisiana. If you've never fished in Southeast Louisiana, you're missing out if you like to fish. So fishing is a way of life down here. There's a lot of fishing brands down here. My brother's a fishing captain, lots of fishing friends. And one of his friends sells courses on how to fish on the internet. And through that relationship, I formed another one with somebody that owned a fishing brand where they sold fishing gears. And now I'm the exclusive for that brand. That's a long trail, right, of networking and relationships and just building and just like always talking to people and being confident in those abilities. And if I'm doubtful in my ability, let's say I'm really doubtful in my ability to create and rank a listing. If I'm just like, I've never done that before, I don't know how to do it. Again, networking, know people like Delia or others that have those skill sets that I can say, hey, I have this account, but I need to make a lot of listings. Is there a way that we can partner on this somehow? And so there's networking. I would say that's probably my strong point. Because, technically, there's always there's always somebody a little bit better at it than I am, right? And so I'm never afraid to admit that, but yeah, the networking for sure.
That's great. The first thing that came to mind as I thought about the question was the confidence I have on Amazon. So when it comes to talking about Amazon, I'm confident that I can help someone else. And especially you mentioned us reaching out to smaller to medium-sized businesses or product owners. They want to make more sales. They don't really have this huge structure. It's easier to get to the product owner or the boss, right, in the business and start those relationships. But just talking about Amazon in my experience, having that confidence, when I didn't have the confidence initially, I resorted to the relationships I had, like you said, and I knew I know people who are willing to do this for a fee, if nothing else. And even if I were to lose money as a result, like at least I know I have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D. I could do this or that. I can use this website or can reach out to this person. So I had this backup plan that gave me the confidence to talk to them. But when I talked to them, I always focused on the benefits they get from getting on Amazon. I rarely try to talk about the features. Oh, I know how search works on Amazon. They don't care. But if I tell them, I know why your competitors are selling more than you are selling, and let me show you why. And then I show them how they rank better on for specific keywords. So I rarely go into the technical, but I can tell them, hey, your competitors are doing better because they're doing X, Y, and Z. Would you like to do that for your product? So focusing on those benefits rather than the features. The feature would be add the right keywords in your listing. They might care about it, but they rarely know Amazon enough to care about that. But if I tell them you can outrank your competitor, that matters to them. So they start to listen. So when you talk to a wholesaler, especially the owner of a brand, someone who has a store or sells at farmers markets, those people don't really know Amazon. They just want to know, can you help me sell more? That's what I need to do at this point.
That's right. Yeah.
That has helped me a lot.
Good stuff.
Well, do we want to talk about the group that we have in mind to build?
Yeah, so we want to build a community that will give all of you the skills and support to build a profitable Amazon business, not just a wholesale business, because it is, anybody could take a screenshot, right? So we want to teach you how to be profitable, different ways that, not just buying the product. So you heard me mention about shipping direct to Amazon. That is a huge cost savings. That could be your strategy where you only work with companies that ship directly to Amazon. That's our goal. Deli and I, that's just kind of our heart in this. We'd love to help, and we want to watch people grow their businesses. And not just that, the community aspect is huge. And Deli, do you want to talk a little bit about that, about the group aspect, and the benefits?
Of course. When I look at my business, ever since I started to build relationships and be around people who are successful, my business has continued to grow at an exponential rate for a while. So the community you build tends to support you in your activities as a seller and really overcome a lot of the obstacles that are hard to overcome as one individual seller. In my case, me and my business partner. When we started to become involved in other communities, we started building relationships. Sometimes those relationships didn't make us more money. There was no financial correlation between that relationship and the money in the bank. But just talking with each other has allowed us to help each other and grow in our own separate businesses. So, and then personally, I get really motivated when I talk to other Amazon sellers and see what they're doing. I love talking about strategies and trying new things. So that for me is more valuable than money, because that motivation is what pushes me forward to work in my business and grow it. So there are a lot of benefits. I think I could probably talk for an hour or two about the benefits of community. It's actually a topic I've been really passionate about, understanding how communities impact people. But what most sellers forget is that the people who are around you are going to impact not just your business, but who you are becoming, right? We forget that the relationships impact us on a spiritual level, on a psychological level. And if you think of this example, let's imagine that you have a lot of debt in your business, and but you're very productive, very task oriented. You do those tasks. You can, after a while, right, pay your debt. How do you feel after you pay that debt? It's a relief, right? The impact of taking care of solving that problem has a multiplier effect in your life. Well, relationships are kind of like that. When you have a good relationship and when you share knowledge, that multiplies, compounds the impact in your business, because who you are, your motivation level, your productivity level is going to impact your income. So the relationships don't have to impact directly your income and revenue. The relationships can help you become more of that person that is successful. And being in a community of successful Amazon sellers is one of the ways you can become more successful. And that's behind our vision for the community. I know I personally have all kinds of dreams of what we can do and how we can help people, but we'll work together and try to build a community that is really supporting each Amazon seller. We can talk a little bit about the things we want to do in this group to help you succeed. Now, as we talked tonight, we talked about different approaches, strategies we have personally used, and we'll talk about that. But if you are a newbie, you're a beginner, and we give you a very advanced strategies, that's not going to help you, right? So we want to build this group for the participants in the group. We don't want to overwhelm you with content. I know I paid a lot of money for some courses, watched 2 videos, and then forgot about it because it was just an online course, one of the many things I had to review. But when you're in a group and you have support and you have the things we have in mind for you, that helps you implement some of the stuff, right? First, we'll give you a basic blueprint to get started, and we'll talk a little bit more of the details of what this impact or includes. Then we want to build this wholesale resource vault, the templates, the tools, what we use to grow our businesses, to make our businesses profitable. And I think the best part of the group will be the live implementation workshops where we talk about specific strategies. We answer questions, we ask you questions. We work together to provide the content that would help you implement. Because like any business, if we are honest, a business requires work. Yes, after you get your wholesale business to work well, you have those accounts, you can outsource it and manage it easily. You're going to make money, passive income, let's call it, right? Everyone talks about passive income. Well, as you're building this passive income stream, you're going to hit a lot of obstacles. Things are going to happen and you don't know how to deal with them. We want to address those in the live implementation workshops. And the main thing is you'll have access to 2 wholesale experts without the high price tag of having a personal coach.
Yeah. So it's kind of like this group coaching model. If some of you are in the retail arbitrage leads group right now, you're kind of experiencing a little bit of that, where there's this group coaching feel where you can jump in and there's a lot of experts in there. Same in here. We're going to be doing one thing about the live implementation is there's going to be over-the-shoulder things, and that's one of the best ways to learn is to just, however, you're going to be watching my screen or Delia's screen and how we're doing things, how we're clicking on stuff, even how we talk on the phone. I don't know how much Delia on her side will be doing that. That's a huge portion of what I do. So what do I say to people? How do I respond? Being kind, courteous, all those things. So there's, the blueprint is awesome. Again, like what Delia was saying about courses, you can just watch videos and get the gist of things. But when it comes to application, when you have accountability, and the neuroscience is all showing and proving all of this, when you have accountability and you've got a team of people around you and you're talking about your goals, you're really involved and engaged, your success rate just skyrockets through the roof. And I kind of liken this to New Year's resolutions. Maybe some of you set them and maybe you're already done with your New Year's resolution because it's the middle of January. But the success rate of a resolution is 8%, I think. And so numbers are around there. So, but they skyrocket when you have 3 to 10 people around you that know about your goal and you're talking about your goals. And so that's what this group will be. And the people that you're going to be telling your goals to also know how to help you be successful on with wholesale on Amazon. So
and we're talking about giving anyone who is on this call and who's making the decision within the next 24 hours to get a 20% lifetime discount on the monthly group price. You can go to wholesale.fbainsiders.co to find the sales page. And we can continue to answer questions about the different strategies we have in mind to teach you about and all that stuff. But if you're ready, you want to just purchase, become a member, be one of those people who is building that wholesale business, just go to the website wholesale.fbainsiders.co, and this is the lifetime discount code. Paul, are you going to show them the website?
Yeah, I will pull that up here really quick. I think you need to, you unshare your screen. This is it right
Yes,
here.
while you're doing that, I really like the idea of working together and doing those implementation workshops. I'm really excited about it. But we want to also try different things that I've discovered in teaching. I still teach at the college level regularly. In teaching, I've discovered things that help people. So we want to implement those tactics or strategies to help you achieve more. And as we get started and we build this group together, you'll learn more about those strategies. So not only do you get to build a wholesale business, you learn strategies you can use in all areas of life. That's one of my visions and hopes and dreams for this group.
That's right. Good stuff. So this is what the website looks like here. If you came and you just like, hey, I want to jump right in, you just click I want to start right here and go right ahead. Again, here's some, just some feedback from different people that we've worked with. And the group benefits right here. Again, just a lot of the same stuff that we were talking about. Different approaches that we use that were, it's not like we used them 2 years ago and it used to work. It's like all these things are still currently working, live monthly workshops, our stories, and then our success. So
we can talk about the price so everyone knows. The monthly price for the regular group is going to be $49, at least as an introductory price point. We might increase this. You can see here, enter promo code on the shopping, the cart page. You can enter that code insider 2020, and that would take 20% off. And I lost my train of thought. So
y'all can cancel anytime as well.
Right.
So there's that.
Well, I mean, when it comes to making a decision of whether to participate in a group like this or not, the question you have to ask yourself, is there a benefit for me? Like if I were to pay, you're not going to pay $49, you're going to pay about $39 because you have 20% off. But if I were to pay $39 and if I get a wholesale account in month 3, would that really pay off this membership? And I don't think we have any account that doesn't make us more than $100 or $200 pure profit without us doing anything other than writing an email. So is making $200 a month for the next 12 months from one simple account worth it to you? So the 20% is only taking 10 off. I'll change it in 1 second.
Yeah, we're going to change that. Delia, there's another question here. How soon do the implementation workshops start?
Our goal was to have the first implementation workshop in a week and a half, right? In about a week.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, in about a week and a half. So there's instructions there after you purchase. You'll jump right into the group, and we'll be getting going, answering your questions. And the first workshop, like she said, would be about 10 days or so. And so, Judith, that promo code. Tell me the promo code again. It's FBA Insiders 20.
Insider 20. So let's do FBA Insider 20 just to make sure that if someone used it and didn't work, it works now.
All caps?
Yes, FBA Insider. This code is going to work for the next, we have it for the next 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
and we can extend it for one extra day because I gave you the wrong code. So might as well extend it at least an extra day.
Good deal. FBA Insider 20. Thank you for letting us know that, Matt. We got another question. Will you provide a list of suppliers ready to work with? That is a great question. No, we will not be giving a list of suppliers, and here's why. When people's, in my opinion, Delia, tell me if you agree with this or not, but in my opinion, when lists of suppliers are handed out, that is just an ask for saturation. And the reason that we're teaching you how to hunt for wholesale accounts is because it's all about the hunt, right? Like, if you are a hunter or a fisherman and you've got a really good spot, you're not going to tell even your best of friends about that spot because it's a honey hole and it's awesome. So we're not going to supply, we're going to teach you how to fish. And we're going to teach you how to fish really well for wholesale accounts. So that is why we are not doing suppliers. So Nirav, how do you sign up? Go to wholesale.fbainsiders.co. Delia answered you there. So there's the code and the link in the chat. So we got another question. Are you covering good practices running a wholesale business, accounting, tracking inventory, etc.? As far as accounting goes, we can talk about how we do accounting for our businesses. As far as tracking inventory, yes. We'll be talking about the whole process A to Z as far as once you land the account, shipping your, getting your inventory in, tracking for reordering, and just keeping that ball rolling and kind of building out that system. So as far as accounting goes, I mean, I use Inventory Lab for my accounting, and I have a bookkeeper that does all of that for me. Delia, do you have a different practice as far as, do you do your own accounting, or do y'all outsource that?
We have a person that does help for a few hours a month with accounting stuff. But we do have just a few really big accounts. So we don't have a plethora of wholesale accounts. We keep accounts that are profitable. If they don't make us a specific amount per month, we don't reorder. So that's how we keep it very streamlined and simple.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. I'm the same way. I'm not about having, just a massive amount of accounts. Like, get your good accounts and work them as much as you can. And so that way you can have, 4 or 5 suppliers, and you're doing a really healthy amount each month just with those. It all depends on how many SKUs they have, obviously. Like, I've got one wholesale supplier that there's really one main SKU that does really well. Everything has the 80-20 rule. This one SKU does 80% of the sales, and the other ones do the 20%. I still order them, still profitable. So, yeah, stuff. Great questions, guys. Let us know if you have any more.
What's going to happen for those of you who want to join us, you'll get access to the Facebook group. You have to, on the thank you page, you have a link to the Facebook group, and then you click on it, you ask to join, and we have to make sure that the people who are asking to join have paid. So that's what we're going to do to give you access. We'll post the first couple of videos in there within the next 3 days, and we have a live implementation workshop scheduled next week. And if it helps the participants, our members, we can put it on a schedule when those workshops are, so you can plan on it. And we'll introduce a lot of things in the next couple of weeks of what we want to do and what we're trying to accomplish in the group. Obviously, if you have questions, this would be a great time to ask them. So the promo code FBA Insider 20. Again.
Yep. And if y'all need to reach out to us, the email is contact@fbainsiders.co, and that should be on the website as well. And so again, our number one goal. Did we hit our last slide?
We did not hit our guarantee, so let's just cover that really quickly.
Yeah.
And finish with that. That would allow people to make a decision.
Yeah. So we were kind of going back and forth about this, about the guarantee, but we really believe that we can help every single person that joins the group get at least one wholesale account. So if you've been in the group for 6 months and you followed our blueprint, you've been working and you're really trying hard to get a wholesale account, but you haven't been able to, we will coach you until you get your first account. And so, maybe there's some reasons. We were talking about the variables as to why someone may or may not get an account. It all depends on what everybody's coming to the table with, how much knowledge you have out the gate. But I would say even for the newest of Amazon seller, many people can just right out the gate get a wholesale account rather quickly. When I say rather quickly, I mean within a few weeks to a month, if they've got everything all set up. But again, there's a lot of variables that go into it, the relationships that you have, the categories that you're looking at, the types of products that you want. You want a higher price point, a lower price point, how big of a margin, all that kind of stuff goes into your account. So I have another question here. Do you have ready training videos that we can watch right away, or do you drip feed them?
So that's a question we've talked about quite a bit, right? Because if we give you too much content, we can overwhelm you. There are people who say, oh, no, I just want a lot of content, but they never take action. So if you train yourself not to take action, you become a person that doesn't take action. So we're trying to do a little bit of both. We have a few training videos ready. And we'll probably post a couple of those, just give you a couple of strategies, get you started, and then we'll add content. Now, because this is a group that we're building with you, if you have questions and you send the questions to us, we are going to create content to answer those questions. So you have access to us. You can ask us to create content on a specific topic. But we don't want to give you too much training and then really help you become a non-action taker. So there's always a very subtle line to balance these two, too much content or drip feeding.
I'm actually in I'm paying for coaching right now through a different program. And I think everybody should have coaching like all the time for the most part. But the coaching that I'm in, we were talking about being a consumer versus a producer. And there's actually endorphins that happen whenever we are watching and we're learning. There's endorphins kicking in. But then we don't take action on it. And all we did was just absorb information and not do anything with it. So the information is only as good as what you do with it. So that's, again, to back up what Deli was saying, why we're drip feeding this stuff in. We don't want to just flood you with this massive hours and hours of content right off the gate. And we also, again, want to cater it to you, and I've personally coached quite a bit of people, one-on-one, and everyone's different. Everyone has a different learning style. Some people need a little bit more hand-holding than others, which is why the group is so nice, because there's all these personalities coming together and there's support for everyone. I like what Judith said, stop learning and start doing. That's right.
And there was another point we talked about, I think it's relevant to this discussion. There are different types of wholesale accounts, right? Very popular, then wholesale accounts that are profitable. They sell a significant or decent amount of products per month. And then wholesale accounts that are not yet on Amazon. There are different strategies, right? To make money with each one of those types of wholesale accounts. Our focus is on the wholesale products that are selling decently well on Amazon, not the most popular, not the ones who are not on Amazon for the first month or two. if you like, if we get 50% of people saying, hey, I really want to know how to get these wholesale products that are not on Amazon, add them to Amazon, how do you approach it? I'll create the content for you. I've done it several times successfully. I can show you how to do it. But it's not the quickest path to success. So I would love to see you have a quick win in the first month, get that wholesale account, start to make 10 times more than what you're paying us to get access to that account, right? So we would love to see you have a quick win in the first month. And that's why we're starting with the approach that is focusing on wholesale accounts that are profitable, maybe not the most popular. We're not going to tell you how to get Lego account, wholesale products from Lego. That's not going to work really well. It's not going to happen unless you have $100,000 to $200,000, right? So we're starting with those types of accounts that are doable. You can actually, if you have the reseller permit and you seem to be a company to the wholesaler, it's much easier to get that account. So maybe that helps some of the people who are considering. Maybe if you want to join the group, you want to be part of a successful wholesale Amazon seller group, and you have requests for all of these other types of content, then let us know and we'll plan it and we'll cover it.
Very good stuff. Yeah, and that's really, again, the benefit of the group is that we're going to cater to you, and it's going to be one of these things that just continues to evolve. And we'll be doing questionnaires and, again, holding your hand through a lot of this stuff. You know, our ultimate goal is to see every single one of you just take off with the wholesale business, wherever you're at in your region, and all those things. So we got a couple requests in the Facebook group, which is really neat. So thank you all so much for the people that are hopping in. And is there anything else, Kelly, that you wanted to share before we?
Just to let everyone who's requesting to join the group, we'll probably handle that tomorrow. It's really late tonight, and we do have to double check. We have to do it manually. So just give us 24 hours or so. And that
code's good. The code is good for 24 hours, right?
Correct. Well, I set it up for 48 hours because I made a mistake the first time. So I figured let's just give them an extra day.
So, 48 hours. I answered a question to someone about it being 24. So 48 hours, guys. You can ponder it. This webinar has been recorded, and so the recording will be emailed and posted in the various Facebook groups. For y'all to watch again. We got one last question here. 2 questions. You said the price is good for 48. The next month is 49.
The coupon code is good for 48 hours. So for the next 48 hours, if you apply the code, you're not going to pay $49. For the lifetime of your account, for as long as you stay in the group, you get that 20% off. So I think that's almost $10 off. You pay $39 something. That's for the lifetime of your account. And we wanted to do that for the first people who are committing. They're like our lifetime members. Yeah,
because y'all are right at the very beginning of this group as we're getting started. So those of you jumping in, you are the early adopters, and so we plan on this group lasting for months and years to come. So as long as Amazon exists, you know, I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. Thank y'all so much for jumping on. And just give us a little bit of time. Be patient with us. You can direct message me on Messenger if you need to, or email us over at contact@FBA Insiders. And so thank y'all so much for hanging out. All right. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
Talk later. Bye.